SARTopo Mobile is also known as CalTopo, and it can be found in both the Android and the iPhone app stores. The app requires that you have either a SARTopo or a CalTopo account already registered. When you sign in, you pick which account you want to link your phone to. In this case, I've picked the SARTopo account. These are the next two screens you will see as you link your phone to your account that is on the internet. You can have both SARTopo and CalTopo accounts at the same time. I have scrolled and panned my map to the hills above Martinez, and now I'm going to use that as my starting point. What I'm going to do in this section of slides is to walk through all of the icons and menu items that you see on the SARTopo mobile screen. We're starting in the menu in the upper left-hand corner. Download layers allows SARTopo to be run offline without any internet. However, it would cost the team $500 a year to give us this capability, and while I expect to do it in 2021, right now too few people are trained on SARTopo to make this worthwhile. Clicking on Settings in the left-hand screen brings up the screen on the right. Looking at Recording Track Detail, this determines how often your GPS goes out and connects when you're laying a track. Highest means it uses a lot more GPS, and you can go from low, medium, high, highest. You should probably check on your own phone to see what level is good for you. Highest works for me without chewing up too much battery. As the note says, using cellular downloads to download tiles can eat up a lot of your data plan. I have mine turned off so that I only download over Wi-Fi. And finally, cache size. This is an interesting area because the 25,000 tiles will take up about 2 gigabyte of data. However, it appears that just downloading the data for Contra Costa County takes up about 10,000 tiles or 500 megabyte of data. And this seems to be pretty good, and it gives me offline access without using any of my cell for anywhere in the county. There are two more settings on the settings screen. Account Detail brings up to the screen to the right, which shows me how I'm linked in and allows me to sign out and sign in under a different account if necessary. Map Settings brings up the screen on the right, and this is pretty much the same as you would see under the Config menu topic on regular online SARTopo. So I'm not going to go into any of the details of what the settings mean, but this is how you would get there. For testing purposes, I am linked into Coco SAR Maps, but for most of you, you will just see an entry for your maps. Clicking on that will bring up the screen on the right. For this class, I'm going to be using the Lost Larry map settings that we used before. Once you have loaded a map, when you click on the menu item in the upper left-hand corner, you will see that some changes have been made. We see now that this screen has changed. We get the name of the map that we've just opened, Lost Larry. If we click on Show Details, we see the map at the right, which also includes the 4-digit code, in this case 9 Uniform 4 Sierra, that would allow us to share this map with other people. Finally, we can see that we can also close the map. Now, for the purposes of the class, however, the next item we're looking at is Your Tracks. When Lost Larry first came up, you did not see any tracks. On this screen, we can manage the visibility of those tracks. In this case, I have turned one of the tracks on, the middle one, and we can see the track now on the screen to the right. If I turn this back off, the track disappears. Creating a bookmark is probably how you would use this app in a CocoSAR search. When you click on the link, it brings up the screen to the right, where you would enter in the 4-character code from the main map of the search. This will pull a copy of the map down onto your phone. In this case, we see that there's already an assignment for walking the canal and searching along that path. However, this map is currently only read-only. We click on the menu link again. We see that there are 2 new links on this page. First is the Your Bookmarks. This is where the data about our new map is stored. Secondly, we see the Unlock Map menu item. Clicking this takes us to the right-hand page where we can enter the password, giving us right access to this screen. We can now add items such as clues or add our tracks to this screen, and they will show up on the master copy back at Command Post. This is all for the menu items page. Clicking on the tool icon on the top of the left-hand screen brings up the screen on the right. This is the same measuring capability that we have in the web-based version, so I'm not going to go into the details here. Clicking on the items icon on the left-hand screen brings up the screen on the right, which is the Add Items. Normally, when the screen first comes up, we would expect to see perhaps the ICP and the Place Last Seen. In this case, I think I must have deleted them during testing. But this is also where we would see all items, such as clues, assignments, folders, anything that we've added to the map. Before we go much further, I'd like you to look at the 2 arrows at the top of the screen. These are your import and export arrows. Import being the arrow on the left going away from the line, and the export being the arrow on the right coming into the line. We will talk about these in another section. Now let's add a map item. Adding a map item works the same way as the web version, so I'm not going to go into any detail here. Clicking on the search icon on the left screen brings up the screen on the right, which works the same as on the web version. Clicking on the layers icon brings up the screen on the right, which allows us to add overlays or to change our base layers. In this case, we change from OpenStreetMap. We're going to change to a Map Builder Hybrid, and you can see that then changes our map base layers on the screen to the right. Clicking on the bullseye icon on the lower right creates a blue dot and shows your current position on the map. Clicking on the satellite dish on the lower left brings up the dialog box in the center and starts track recording. You enter your track name, say save the track to account or this map or to both, but you always want to save it to at least this map. And then click on Start Recording. When you are recording your track, you will see both your track and your current position on the screen. When you are done, click again on the satellite dish icon on the lower left. This will bring up the Finish dialog box, and click on Finish to close out your track. To export the items on our screen, we now return back to the Items icon. We click on the Export or Download arrow, and then we select the file type. You should always select GPX. The review screen comes up for us to check those items that we want to export. We then press the Export button. The data will be sent to our Downloads folder. To import or upload data, we select the up arrow. That will take us to the Downloads folder where we select the file that we want to import. Again, we review and check the items that we want to import. We then click on the Import button, and the items are re-imported. This is the end of this section.